Both of these teams have not been disappointing for fans, Lemon. This has been a pretty impressive start so far for Dallas Fuel, who came out of a very middling mid-season showdown
themselves. So it will be Flora versus Edison, but right now it's the clash in the server side, and Doha has returned on the Mei, and this slow is hurting Kellen so much. He makes it so every move he makes is gonna be punished, and Hanbin gets a 3K, and that was a fantastic Mei wall by Doha.
Wow, we need to examine why Doha used that wall so early when it wasn't going to get think about what's happening.
Get punched in the face till you're black and blue, but blue in this case is a good thing. Dallas Fuel starts the rally along with Gangnam Jin on the other side of New York, but Kellen just gets bursted. There is no time to react. A blizzard from Fuel, I think, is what really anchored Kellen into place and allowed Fuel to just focus fire him down. And we had a conversation like day about what is the most important person to focus down. Yaki, so Chio has to be on top of this barrier. And that's maybe why Fuel are playing more in the middle of the map for the range of that ultimate, but Yaki dashes in and gets killed! Just interrupted by the Fuel, who surge forward and see what else they can get. Well, they just slid into Flora's DMs, and he'll answer quite politely, so Fuel still get more than enough to finish off this fight, and they'll take back the lead.
I think Kellen managed.
Yeah, Yaki got destroyed the last time he tried the gap close, so you can see he's being so much more measured with it, and maybe waiting for the shout to come out, but he dashes, goes right to the Brigitte, who shield bashes out. Fielder can run, but he can't hide, and neither can Edison, and the rest of the Dallas Fuel at 99 to 99 is just taking care of staggers at this point, and New York will force a round 3. And also Kellen, as they tussle and hustle, but New York have the better positioning. Good disruptor shot, and traps Kellen in the corner, and Edison read that like a book. A great connection on the headshot. As now, what is there to protect New York? What is keeping these doors closed? Flores steps out into the market side, then just shoot Edison, and he gets out for free? But that's when the Dallas Fuel hope to just punish that, so they walk in, they're chasing Flora around, and they kill % for New York. Dallas Fuel have to think of something.
It's carnage time, and Fielder found that out the hard way. Off the side, you all go, push them to the cliffs, say New York Excelsior. Oh my goodness, while it may have been a fragless first round for New York, the city that never sleeps certainly is making Dallas...
Seeing if they can catch New York on rotations. They got found out, so New York are now speeding into Fuel, putting their backs against the wall. Kellen maybe disengaging just slightly because he was half held, but they got the assassination on the Chio. Sparkle, you have to keep an eye on what he's doing. He's next to Edison in this room. Excelsior have already, zoned off the defense so hard. They've gotten a free tick, and Fuel haven't had a chance to get really any response.
Yaki's pressure there was also incredibly critical to getting this cap because he forces out the commanding shout from Hunt.
A little bit earlier than Fielder, and that sustain could make a huge difference as Yaki's play comes out with the extra overhealth, and Fuel don't have the sound barrier in time to even counter. So New York gonna position themselves on card and go for almost a full B capture.
Oh, Fielder's rally here I have some questions about. I think that one might have already...
I always know where Sparkle is. He's one of the biggest threats, and Fuel get booped off the card, or we're maybe just too late to touch, and New York got an almost flawless point B run.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you right here. Dallas Fuel are falling apart. Like, it's not that they're just losing fights. They're not even taking fights, it feels like. Dallas Fuel are just, like, trying to rotate into a way where they can continue brawling against the Dallas Fuel. And on top of this, you've got to consider the position of the car as well, which New York have control of.
Wait, New York just walked past Fuel, jumped behind them, and it's New York that killed them. And the sound barrier, again, from Onsu is at these perfect moments where Fuel are already engaging into them, and there's a massive health advantage for New York. So a few meters away from, I feel like, a massive, not record-breaking, but close to for this attack. But the blade is in the shadows. Wait this out, and he waits for the moment to now pop his own blade. And then you have Edison's overclock that's been untouched and unperturbed at the back. And Fuel, this reactive playstyle, they waited for New York and then just punished them.
Interesting choice there from Edison to not actually kill Kellen, but instead go after the reinforcement of Gangnam Jin, who was moving on in, knowing that Kellen would easily be dispatched. But the critical play of that entire last fight lane was actually
for 2 in terms of best case scenarios for Genji's. Edison's getting charged up, and he just rams the barrel in Gangnam Jin's mouth, so Dallas Fuel can start off this fight well. They don't even let New York have any safe space. They've infiltrated, Dallas Fuel have infiltrated the mini pack room and completely slaughtered New York Excelsior, so this will be a full cap unless New York think they can recontest. down. They're crossing the bridge. They force New York down. This is a time for Yaki to respond and help his team out with the blade, but the rally and the sound barrier is so much for Yaki to cut through. Through the entire Dragon Blade ultimate, he could only kill one, but just chasing Dallas Fuel around without cooldowns, Fuel just fell over. So a great fight for New York.
That was amazing.
Clock, and at the very least, Jin is safe. Ansun J dropped, and he tried to climb up, and he gets headshot. A perfect target for Dallas Fuel as they save the overclock for this moment and cap point B. And they're able to cycle some more ultimates for the rest. Only into Edison, but turns around before he gets the finish and never gets the dash reset to leave. So that will cost Yaki and New York as they try to run away. And Fuel are hunting for every single member. And Fuel are also very close to this box of victory. So New York, every stagger here is gonna suck.
The kiting and the timing on Chio Sambar as well was absolutely perfect. Now Sparkle with a blade, if you come on in, is going to be a real danger. The Bob, though, from Flora might be able to stop this. They don't even touch! Oh, Lemon, that's a sadness.
Shot, which has a much longer cooldown of 11 seconds, so Genji gets pulled, not as huge of a deal depending on the focus fire anyway, as Sparkle wanted to go after Flora, force out the jump, but Flora jumps right in the sideline of Edison. It's a one-man advantage for Fuel as they surge around this fashion shop at Excelsior for trying to get some deals on, but the only deal is, as Fuel just got a 0.8 cap.
Lemon, forcing out the jump is exactly right, because you know that when they're going through that...
Have a barrier. They have Yaki though. He's got the blade. Chio hits it in time, but not before Edison falls. So can Fuel work with this health advantage to get the kills? Well, they haven't dealt with Yaki. It's just dash resetting like crazy. But yeah, Fuel ain't living much longer after the impact that Yaki had in that fight. So New York will get to return to high ground and have a good vantage point for Flora.
Up in a good position at long range. It's going to be an absolute terror.
Okay, time to play my favorite game, hide and go seek against the overclock. Oh! Edison wins. I don't make up the rules. That's just the way it is. 5-on-3, and no one left for New York to touch the point. So Dallas Fuel will be getting point B, and they actually want more stagger kills. Sparkle has less Dallas Fuel. Sparkle can make this winnable, and the anti-heal comes out from Hanbin's Rampage, and all Sparkle has to do is knock down the pins that Hanbin has set up. It's only 2 members of New York, but they just have to live on the card for respawns to come back, because here and there, Fuel are missing members, but New York just can't anchor hard enough. So a 2-minute time. Fuel might be going for more. They've already flushed out Kellen from the right room, and Ansun J is stuck. So Fuel, can they stagger out New York even more? Let's find out.
Hanbin lives to aggress, and Kellen, yes, stuck in the back line. It's a long-range knife, but it's stuck in the shield. So
he's already been warded away, and Fuel are stuck on the staircase. Here's a rampage from Hanbin, and I think he gets the anti-heal on Yaki and Kellen. It's short range enough where Hanbin is exactly where he wants to be on the other side of the cart. Just unfortunately didn't have enough healing from Dallas Fuel, but as the seconds drain by, New York are just struggling. It's overtime, and point A is a big question mark. It's a 3-on-2 favoring the Dallas Fuel, and Sparkle goes unmatched. The Dallas Fuel will be taking Circuit Royale and going to series points.
Sparkle down sooner.
Feels like New York are taking more control of the middle of the map, and hoping that Ansun J and Yaki work better together, or else Sparkle's just gonna have the speed advantage. I mean, look how Fuel are just already in New York's backline. New York tried to scout middle of the map, but didn't realize Fuel were just running it down main before it was too late. So a massive call by Fuel as they'll get the first meterage.
High ground.
Well, Dallas Fuel start the shout and the blade from Sparkle as he's gone through 4 people. That is insane. I was thinking Fuel were just gonna play passive and just bridge if he got the overclock, and even jumps in to catch New York, who rounded the corner. But Fuel unfortunately just extended at the bridge to help Edison on the overclock and got picked because they just didn't have intel on where New York was on that defense. So New York, once they farm one, they get all the others, and Fuel will only get the 69 meters. In Fuel have only 3 members that are anti-healed though, and Sparkle was still anti-healed when he popped the blade. Even he can't believe it. The rally from Fielder hadn't had a chance to build up either, so not enough cushion for Fuel to survive, and that is blocked. This was a little scary, but all Dallas Fuel want to do is ward off New York from the bot to drain the overtime, and it works out. No supports and no hope for New York, who started off this tournament qualifiers so well with a win, a reverse sweep on the Houston Outlaws, but not today. Dallas Fuel will take the series 3-1.
showing off a means for hope of a New York Excelsior.